My name is Marcus, and welcome to Servant King. Welcome to the confusion programs. This first confusion program is called Confusion of Mind. The reason I'm doing this first program about your mind is not so much for the confusion programs, but for all of them, including the unraveled programs. By the time you go through all the unraveled programs, you will feel different. And I just want to make you aware of some things and things that I experienced as I learned these things. So, this first program is called Your Mind, and we'll get to your mind in a minute. I'd like to start with this. The reason this website is called Servant King is because it is the highest status any man can have. It is the most high you can be. When you were born, you were a servant king. But you were subjected to something that made you abandon it. You made a choice in which you voluntarily abandoned your birthright and automatically descended. You chose to become a descendant of something, but did not know you were making that choice. The good news is you do not need to reascend. You only need to stop believing what you have been subjected to. The ascension is automatic or by default. Now, my programs are not a bunch of discoveries that add to confusion and leave you hanging as what you should do. No, I will be giving you the solution in the unraveled programs. But whether you take it and act on it will be your choice. Just as you have already made a choice by taking something and acting on it, which resulted in the loss of all your property. You now will need to make a new choice. Now, I'm not going to beat around the bush here. I'm going to make some statements up front. Unbelievable statements. First, if you are a member of any country, then you own no property. It's just not possible. If you own no property, then you practice the occult. If you practice the occult, then you see things that are not there. That's called hallucinations. And if you practice the occult, you do not see things that are there. And that's called blindness. And if you are suffering from hallucinations, that is a severe mental disorder called delusions. And if you are suffering from blindness, you just need to open your eyes. So, if you are a member of any country, you are suffering from hallucinations, and that is a severe mental disorder, you are delusional. Now, that's quite a statement to make, isn't it? But being the nice man I am, I prefer to call it confusion. Now, I know you don't believe what I just told you. I wouldn't have believed this years ago either. But what you believe doesn't change a thing unless you change what you believe. And who cares what you believe? Well, let me answer that for you. The answer is those who rely on what you believe to pull off the greatest swindle ever. Those who go to great lengths to be sure you will never reclaim your birthright. We were all born with a birthright. We still have that birthright. Just got to figure out how to get it back. Birthright is something people never think about. I don't know about you, but I thought it would be nice to own something. Anything. Maybe a dog. Right now, I don't even own my dog. Neither do you. And the other thing I would like to tell you before we get to your mind is what many call the greatest news ever. You've probably heard it before, but nobody believes it. Here's the news. The truth will make you free. Everyone's heard that. But who said it, and what does it mean? In layman's terms, it would be called a get-out-of-captivity-free card. Now listen very carefully. You only get one card. There is no second card. It's a one-time offer, and the offer has already been issued. But do you know how to claim it? Now, if you find yourself in captivity today, what you need to know is that you are in a prison within a prison. Those who think they are free are also in captivity. But if you use this card, if you use it, you do have to depart and promise never to return. Just so we are clear about this, if you use the card, you can never return to who you are and where you are. If you do, you will have ensnared yourself again because of your conviction. How do I know all this? I have it on very, very good authority. I would also like to show you the shadow of a couple of things, but not the things itself. In order to see the thing, I will need to shed more light on it as we go. When the light goes on in your head, then you'll be able to see it. Could you imagine one day getting a letter from a lawyer in the mail, and the letter said that you are the beneficiary to a will? You are the heir to an inheritance. The letter goes on to say that you were disinherited and barred from your inheritance when you chose to be estranged from your dad and when you were adopted by a new family. However, I am pleased to inform you that your dad still loves you, and according to the codicil of the will, your dad will forgive you, but you must return home. In addition, the will stipulates that you are to be given exclusive control over your inheritance, provided you adhere to the complete and perfect terms of the will. This is an open standing offer, which you can claim at any time, but you can only claim it in person. P.S. I should also inform you that your dad is really wealthy. What would you do? Would you continue trying to make it on your own? Would you still try to make a name for yourself? Or would you act in the name of your real father and return and adhere to the terms of the will? So, to be sure that you claim your inheritance in person, you look up the word person in Webster's dictionary, and it says, a person is primarily a mask used by an actor on stage. Okay. So you go out and you buy a mask. And you put it on and you return home for your inheritance. When you get home, you say, "Hi, Dad, I'm here for my inheritance." Your dad looks at you and says, "I don't recognize you. Depart from me, you who practices iniquity." Iniquity means pretending to be who you are not. Wow, wouldn't that be a shock? The letter you got from the lawyer explained the terms of the will, and you thought you did everything correct and right. You even looked up the word person to be sure you did not make a mistake. Wouldn't that just blow your mind? You see, the word person is one of the keys to understanding the confusion, to seeing the illusion, and learning how you have been swindled out of your inheritance. And I will be confusing you more before we completely unravel it. I should tell you that a person is not a noun. It's an adverb. The other thing I would like to tell you, like the inheritance story, is this. One day, somebody shows you something and it looks beautiful. You really want it. You desire it. Now he is willing to give it to you, but you have to ask for it. You have to apply for it. You have to request it. So you ask for it, and he gives it to you. Then he tells you that you should keep it in a safe place. Very valuable. Like a safety deposit box or a treasure box. One day you decide to show your friend your treasure. And he looks at it and says, "Well, it sure looks nice, but it's a counterfeit. A forgery, a copy, a duplicate. You've been duped." And you say, "No, I can't believe that. Look at it. It's beautiful." And he says, "Yes, I know it looks beautiful, but I've seen the real one, the genuine one, and I can tell you that this one is counterfeit." Wouldn't that just rot your socks off? You see, there is no way humanly possible to recognize a counterfeit or forgery of anything unless you have seen the real genuine thing. You have to see both of them in order to compare. And this is why I must show you in the presentations both the counterfeit and the genuine, or you can never know or see the swindle. Now, your mind. There is a battle going on for your mind. This is nothing new. This battle's been going on as old as mankind himself. In reality, the battle is over, because I can find no one who has not lost their mind. By the time you watch all these videos, both the confusion videos and the unraveled videos, you will say to yourself, I must have lost my mind. But to be fair and in reality, you have only lost control of your mind. So I need to briefly speak about your mind so you are aware of how you make choices. I also need to mention some of the things I experienced in my own mind as I discovered these things. What you will feel and experience as you go through these programs. I have given much thought to whether I should do these programs. I also gave much thought as to how to explain the things I've learned and discovered. As I discovered things, I repeatedly said to myself, this is unbelievable. Who else knows this? Nobody seems to know this. But of course, somebody must. What makes the unbelievable believable is the evidence, the facts, and the proof. Proven facts become knowledge. If I were to just give you what I've learned without laying a foundation, people would take it, run with it, maybe for the right reasons, maybe for the wrong reasons, and could end up hurting themselves. It's best to act when the confusion is gone. You see, the law is a very serious thing. In other words, if you are involved in something that is bad, you'd be best to get out of it before you criticize it. Someone may hurt you. That's just a prudent warning. You see, these things I learned came to me slowly over many years. You will need time to absorb and grasp these things. You will need time to think a little bit more, until you can clearly see them, understand them, feel them, and live them. Knowing something to be true without the why is not knowledge at all. That is just believing someone who told you it is true. Belief is not knowledge. Belief is only what you accept as true. The few people who I've spoken to about these things in just a brief way have said, well, just explain it to me. I'm not stupid. And I can hear a sarcasm, a discomfort in their voice, because I just told them something that they know is true, but they don't know why, and that makes them feel uncomfortable. Deception has nothing to do with being stupid. It has to do with mind control in ways that we are all subject to. As we go through these programs, you will experience an emotion of frustration and confusion. You may feel a betrayal of something that you hold dear and sacred, like losing the love of something really great. Your first reaction may be to reject what you are learning and think it is crazy. If you are human, this is normal. Your mind has been controlled in ways to make you react to things which are contrary to your beliefs. You will feel uncomfortable. You may feel angry, maybe even towards me. You may reject what I present, but ultimately you should feel deceived. Why did nobody ever tell me this? And I'll be answering that question also as we go along. And if and when you grasp these things, you will feel fear and scared to act upon what you know to be true. All I can say about fear is that the cause of any fear you have or you feel has already happened to you. Think about it. Fear of doing something in the future is always based on a past experience. And the deceivers know this too. They rely on it. It took me a few months each time I felt these things to finally overcome them. I almost stopped my quest, but I reviewed the few things I knew to be absolutely true, and each time it made me continue. When you feel these emotions, just continue at your own pace, because things that are true will not go away just because you do not believe them. Renewing your mind will be the hardest thing you will ever do. And the lying deceivers know it. Again, they rely on it at your expense. Let me say it again. You will feel fooled, deceived, some will get angry, Some will think it's funny. But everyone will feel frustrated and scared to do anything about it. But when you can clearly see the effects of this, however, and why it is done, you will see the extreme evil in it. Can you change your mind? People always think they're big enough to change their mind. I don't know. The first thing I need to address is this. If the information I present to you will change your mind, you have to be willing to change your mind. Stubborn, stiff-necked people cannot be turned. But when you start to see the facts, as they say, facts are stubborn things. It is very difficult, nearly impossible, to solve a problem using your mind if the problem is in your mind. The problem is your mind. How are you going to use your mind to solve the problem in your mind? It's like a disease trying to cure a disease. Sort of like a mental guy who thinks he is normal, or a man with multiple personality disorder trying to get rid of them. These programs have concepts that are hard to grasp, things that you're not supposed to know, but simple when you see them. There are only two ways to see things. One is with your eyes, and the other one is with your mind, called imagery or imagination. It is the second one that is controlled by law, but you're not aware of that. But it will require you to think, because right now they are foreign to your way of thinking. We do and say many things every day without even thinking what it is all about, because it is normal. But when you look below the surface as I have, you will find things you wish you never knew or saw. We never think. We have no time for that. And this is done on purpose too. People believe many things. What you believe will determine how you act. You can change what you believe, but you cannot change what you know, because what you know is a fact. What you know will determine how you will act for sure. If you can change belief to knowledge, now you know something for sure. Mind control is what you let your mind be exposed to. Every waking moment, experience, association, is taken in through your senses, and it is mind altering. When you expose yourself to things, either good or bad, no matter how strong you think your mind is, they are mind altering to some degree. So, mind control begins with you. What will I expose myself to? When we were born, our mind started developing. What we think will change. When things are done to your mind for your own good, that is good mind control, but it is still mind control. But who decides what is good for your mind? You decide what TV shows your kids can watch. This is mind control. We have a government-approved education system. This is mind control. We have news programs like the most trusted name in news. That's mind control. When your mind is developed through and by someone who loves you and you trust, that is probably good. When someone who you do not know or trust tries to control your mind, you will probably not let your mind be controlled. You will not believe them. You will reject it. So winning someone's hearts and minds is very important. Religion and patriotism uses the same process called make-believe. What can I make you believe? Believe me, it's true. I have to tell you, though, that some things are just make-believe. They're not true at all. Like pretending and acting. This is why all con men who want to sell you something are always friendly. Nice, compassionate, tell you something you want to hear, stroke your ego, your self-esteem. They care for your well-being. They are concerned about your public safety. You may believe what I tell you because you like me. If you don't like me, even if I told you the truth, you wouldn't believe it. But these con men, they only met you a moment ago. Can they really feel these things for you? They don't even know you. They really want something else. A salesman wants your money. A politician wants your power. When knowledge is purposely put in your mind or purposely kept from your mind, that is also mind control. New concepts are usually easy to understand, unless your mind already holds concepts contrary to them. A well-educated mind will have great problems with these concepts I will be presenting. They already know too much. My blessing in disguise was my brain was pretty well empty. Not that I was stupid, I just did not know very much. When I say something, you may see something totally different than what I intended, based on your experience, associations, and so forth. Or just reject the concept outright. No room in my brain for a new or contrary concept. I do not want to change the way I do things. It's too hard. It's the only thing I know. It is the only way I know. Most of how to learn will happen in the first 7 years of your life. After that, it will be hard. Have a look at your child's report card. Do it. Year after year, your teachers are writing in there, this child is grasping this concept, this concept, this concept. They keep using the words concepts. We've all been taught concepts. Can you be cultured without being a member of a cult? Any society or culture is a cult. They hold beliefs in common for peace and harmony, and that may be good, but it proves that you don't think. Free thinkers cannot all hold the same beliefs or knowledge. Those exposed to the same stimuli or mind control will think alike. We think of mind control and a cult as something bad. Well, it can be bad or good. It's just what will you expose your mind to, and that requires you to think. Common sense is just what everyone does. Monkey see, monkey do. Common sense. Explaining my discoveries to you will be, for me, like speaking to a cult. But you do not think you are a member of a cult. This is the genius of the occult. It is hidden and hard to see. I will show you something to be true, and you'll be able to see it. But you will try to reject it or ignore it because of your long-held beliefs. I just want you to think about this and keep it in mind when you feel yourself feeling uncomfortable or ready to reject something. You have absorbed many things over your years because of your beliefs, trust, patriotism, loyalty, love, vanity, jealousy, greed, lust, fear. These are the human motivators. These motivators will make you act one way or another, and they all come from your mind. Remember what I said early on. Overcoming a mind problem with your mind is very difficult, almost impossible. I would like you to prove me wrong. In the next video, next program, I will begin my story. I have a story. I will show you what caused me to wake up from my dream. My story reveals my confusion, my lack of knowledge, but is foundational to all the programs. So, in the next video, let's get confused together. Till then, my name is Marcus.